Hello! Welcome to Crafting in Quarantine. My name is Marjan Verstappen, and today I'm going to show you how to do a paper mache and cardboard mask, much like this one, but I think a little bit better, because second time around I always do things a little bit better. And that's all. Let's get started. So you're going to need some cardboard. I've got a couple of sheets of just ordinary corrugated cardboard. And then you're going to need some paper and a pencil and a pair of scissors and an X-Acto knife if you have one, and some glue. Here's some watered down school glue. You could also use paper mache paste. And then I've got some tissue paper here, and you can use any kind of paper. This is just what I have. Okay, so the first step for your mask is to make a paper pattern so that you can trace it onto the cardboard and you have a symmetrical mask that you know fits your face. So I've got my piece of paper here. I want a mask that just covers my the top part of my face and stops at my nose. So I'm just going to hold it over like that, and you can see it more or less comes to my ears. It covers most of the side of my face. And then I'm just going to, just to get a sense of where my eyes are, I'm just going to draw an X over here and another one here. Doesn't have to be perfect. This must look a bit creepy. And then pop it down on the table, fold it in half. This is how we make it symmetrical. And then I'm just going to draw where I think my nose should be and how big the forehead should be. You know, as a half. And then how big the eyes should be, based on where the X is. So this is what I've got here. Yours could come down a bit lower on the cheeks if you like, but I'm going to cut this out now and then check how it looks, see if the eyes fit in the right place and I can see out of it and stuff like that. So I'm just going to cut out the eye holes. You can see if I cut them both out together, I end up with a really nice symmetrical face mask. That's the easiest way of doing this. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to try it on again and see what I think. Okay, it's okay. I just need to make the eye holes a bit bigger and a bit higher. So I definitely don't want it to be any smaller here, so I'm just going to cut them larger up here. All right, that's better. I think that's okay. Let's see. Yes, I can see out of it. One thing I don't want is that I don't want it to have a dip here. That was my mistake. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw and cut it out of this piece of cardboard. And so just when I draw that part, I'm going to make sure it's smooth over the top here, just like that. going to give it a bit more space here. Actually, no, I won't. Okay, and there's my outline ready to cut out. Okay, so now I've cut mine out. Looks all right, it's pretty even. It's okay if it's a bit rough at this stage because we're gonna paper mache over it and make it smooth again. Right now, what I wanna do next is I wanna make some features to go on the mask so I can build up some of the cardboard. So I wanna do an owl mask. So I'm gonna do some owl horns and maybe some feathers around here, and I'm gonna give it a beak. So there's one. Now I'm gonna flip it over, draw around it, and cut out exactly the same piece on the other side. Okay, so now I've got some on the top and the bottom. And the last thing I'm gonna do in cardboard is the beak. This is a little bit trickier. I'm going to need some masking tape. Sorry, I forgot to tell you at the start. So I've got a little masking tape I'm going to use to shape the beak. Just this part here where it comes apart. There. Now, I also gave it some flaps so I can just glue it onto here. And now I'm going to glue everything. So here's my mask. I'm going to leave it for 30 minutes just to let the glue start to set. And then I'm going to start my paper mache. Alright, so I'm ready for the paper mache. And I know that some of you have seen me do this before because we did paper mache a few weeks ago. But I'm just going to give a quick demonstration just in case. But I've got just my white glue with a bit of water in it. You can also use paper mache paste, and the recipe for that is posted in the comments. And You can use a brush as well if you want. It's just the most important thing is that everything is really smoothed down. But I'm going to forgo the brush today. I think I'll be alright without it. But I'm just sort of dipping the strips in the paper mache and sticking them on. It's a little bit more fiddly with tissue paper, but with you can use newspaper and then paint it. You can use whatever kind of paper you want. And what it does is it just makes it look a bit smoother. It gives it a nice texture and it makes it very, very, very strong. Okay, so at this point I've almost finished my first layer, and one important thing to do as you finish, particularly the first layer, is to just, with a brush or with your finger, just rub some glue over it and squish out all the air bubbles, squish down all the loose pieces of paper before your second layer. Oh dear, my hands are very sticky. And then the other thing is to just make sure you're just bending down all the loose edges. Everything has to be smooth. This is the part where the kids get really mesmerized by the paste. So just make sure as you finish that you bend down all the loose edges, get it all smooth. And then you can go ahead and do a second layer. That'll make it even smoother. Or you can just leave it dry. I'm going to leave mine to dry overnight, and I'm going to get back to you tomorrow. Okay, so here we are a day on. It's dried a little bit glossy, and it still could use a little bit more attention. There's some parts where the paper mache is a bit thin, but I'm going to do another layer now. As it dried, I was just, bending it a bit lightly so it fits around my face. It's good to do that when the cardboard's damp, but it works well even when it's dry. And the second layer, once I do the second layer, it will hold that shape even better. So it's just a good time as you paper mache and afterwards just sort of bend it gently, and it will start to keep that shape. Doesn't look too bad, does it? So what I want to do now is I've got some lighter shades of paper here, and I want to do kind of just feathery markings for my second layer. If you want to paint yours, you can just paint yours now. I just like to do the detailing in paper mache, but if you just want to start painting, then that's great. And you can also think about what other kind of embellishments you want to put on it. Like if you've got things like feathers, or you can also do curled paper and stick that on. You can do those kinds of things as well. I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, so here's one. Because I'm doing light paper mache on top of darker paper mache, it's going to take a couple of layers. So I'm going to tune back in with you once I've done both of these, just to show you how it went. Okay, so here's how mine turned out. Now I'm ready for Halloween. So the last step is you can put it on a stick if you want, just like a chopstick is great, and some hot glue, or you can just use a sharp scissor to punch a hole in both sides and then use a ribbon or some elastic. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy making your own mask. And you don't have to do fancy paper mache. If you find it fiddly or too gross on your hands, just do a layer or two and then paint it or bedazzle it. Go to the Dollarama, get some rhinestones. You don't have to keep it this plain. But whatever you do, I hope you have a wonderful week and you stay safe and healthy. All right, that's all from me. Goodbye.